Sometimes your best trade is the one you need to stay in the longest, but it was very telling and teaching today. We're going to look at MARA in just a moment, but we traded about 6 or 7 stocks today, so let's go over them one at a time. All right, let's start with BKKT. As you can see on the daily chart, this thing really started off strong. This red candle was a bullish candle, and it was going up nice and strong, and we were trying to get long on it. So I did okay, it looks like, according to the profit and loss table here. But let's look at what happened here was when it started to take off and break out over the pivots. I went long on this candle here, the breakout candle. Then I added, and then when it went way up here and started turning red, I got out of looks like the majority of it. And then I bought some more, but as it continued red, I decided to close 90% of it, and I forgot about it. And I ended up getting out of that last little piece all the way down here. And even though this was a ridiculous hold for a loss, this was a profitable trade, which I was surprised to find out. So that was BKKT. What's the next one? CHRS. Now, CHRS would have been pretty good, except it just ticked me out under the low of the day. We should probably look at the daily chart on it. It's pretty bullish. But right here, once it came down and started bouncing off of the 20 moving average on what time chart was that? Looks like the 15-minute time chart. I'll show you. I got long on it, and then I put my stop right under the low. And then, of course, it came down and ticked me out before it went in the right direction and really took off. That was unfortunate that it just got me out in the wrong direction on that. I'll show you where it bounced on the 15 chart moving average here. Okay, looking at it right here, you can see that 20 moving average was coming up right here. This first 15-minute candle, it came down and bounced right into it. And it ticked below it, and that's what got me out. So right here, it came down, it started to cross under all the moving averages, and it just eventually went in the wrong direction. The problem is it just ticked me out, and sometimes that happens, unfortunately. All right, next is NVIDIA. It started off strong with the market, and let me just show you where I got in at here. I wanted to go long on this thing, and it looked like it was going to set up real nicely here. And so I just jumped in it where it looked like it was getting ready to break out. Put my stop underneath the low of the day here, and it started to reverse, and I got out early, fortunately, and then started shorting it even before I would have been stopped out. I shorted it here down to here. I didn't catch this big move, unfortunately. I did, however, get long right here because I thought it went down long enough and far enough, and it was bouncing off some things on the higher time charts. And I was trading 4 or 5 stocks at the same time today, so I forgot about it. And when it came up to break even at the time, I was like, let me break even because it's too many things to look at and watch. So it was profitable, but it could have been a whole lot more profitable had I caught this downside and learn when to switch directions. Boy, oh boy, I got to get better at that. And I got to hold my winners longer. When you're nervous about losing, you get a little nervous and you get out of the trade too fast. And that's been a problem of mine, and I got to overcome that. So that was NVIDIA. Next will be Tesla. You can see the kind of day Tesla had today. This down drop from yesterday, and it continued today, especially when it was breaking through the 8 moving average, and the pivot of yesterday was real nice to get that. So we started to go short on it, and it was still tricky too to hold it while you're waiting for the thing to fall. That's happened with me with almost everything today. But let's take a look at the first trades here. I started shorting all the way up here, and it shot down, and I immediately put my stop on break even, and it came up and stopped me out. Then I shorted again. I said, I'll just use this ledge up here as my stop loss, and it went down, and I got out on this trade here. That was profitable, and it looked like it was going to keep going, so I got back in, and I waited. And this pullback right here wiped out all my profits, except it didn't hit my stop loss up here. And by the time it came back down here, I barely made anything on it because I was so darn nervous. This breakout was good, though. I could tell it was going to break out, just like NVIDIA was going to break out, and the market was dropping. Everything was dropping. So I got back in, but I just, barely held. I didn't hold it long enough. This is a very interesting learning experience here. I got to really pay attention. I really should have held my trades longer today. And there is one that I traded, I'll show you in a minute, that I did hold pretty good. I just kept getting back in it for it. And then finally, I traded right here finally, and had enough profits to endure, and it came back down and barely a profit. See how I barely got out for a profit? I barely got out for a profit on all these trades when it had these gigantic moves like this. So that's all that happened with Tesla. Next we have, let's see, Uber. And Uber, let's see the hourly chart. You can see here how it gapped down from yesterday, and it bounced off these moving averages and came right back up to the close. And I thought it was going to keep going. I didn't know it was going to come up so high. So when it bounced down right here, and I started to short off right here, but it just kept going. So I got out real quick. And then I started shorting again right here and shorted all the way down and closed down here. There's a short, I kept adding, and then I closed everything down here. And like I said, I was trading so many things today that the one that I did hold for all this, I could only do one at one. And so we did have one that we held for the long haul, unfortunately. But that's the trade for Uber right there. So next we have Mara, M-A-R-A. Now the daily chart looked like it was going to try to keep going back up here because it popped up green and then it just reversed. And as it was green down here in the 2-minute chart, you can see that I was long at first. Yeah, right here it got long, and this big engulfing candle, and it looks like I stopped out under the low of the day. This is another one where I put it under the low of the day, I'll get out, and so I had to get out. And I guess I tried a couple of times for it to bounce. And I realized, you know what? This is underneath the moving averages, and it's crossing underneath. Let's see right here. It fell below the moving averages. It's under the 50. I reversed, and I'm so glad that I ended up reversing on this, because in the past, I would have been trying to double and triple and quadruple my position to catch a bounce, and that would have been a nightmare on this. I've done that many times to my demise, and it felt so good today to be on the right side of this trade. Yes, I got in and out, in and out, in and out a whole bunch of times, but almost every single one of these was profit. In fact, all of these were profitable to the downside, except for when I got all the way down here. Even I was shorting, except for when it went sideways towards the end of the day. I just decided to try it a couple times. So there was a loss in through here, right there. I think only one or two small losses right here, but then I made that back right here again. And this was my best trade of the day. And any one of those stocks that had gone down like this, if I was in them, I would have done the same kind of trading on them. It's kind of hard at this point to do more than one. But thank God I'm learning little by little. And I'm just so happy that I was on the right side of this trade instead of repeating old bad habits of trying to buy lower and lower and adding to my position when it's losing, adding to a losing trade. So, and I think I would have done that with NVIDIA, but with NVIDIA, I'm in a situation where I can hold it overnight and keep it for a swing trade if it goes wrong. So that's part of my strategy with NVIDIA. Day trade it, but if it goes against me, hold it and add to it, because I want a big position in it eventually anyway. So anyway, that's my trades for today. Hopefully we'll get better by the grace of God. Peace.